Hi everyone. So we have Dr. Binayak Deb here in this session where he's addressing his other fraternity members. And what he's going to do is talk about his own investment journey, which is very sorted, what I feel. And the reason why we are conducting this session is because we can learn from each other, we can share our own experience. I personally always have felt that investing is very simple. It's just that industry has made it very complex. Okay, we all come from one or the other industry, and we have that experience through which we can identify good companies to invest into. And this has been one of the method, obviously, with Dr. Binayak Dev also, and he has a very fantastic investment journey. So yesterday, when I was having a talk with him, he agreed to give a lecture on his own journey, and he only agreed upon if we will be making it very interactive, asking questions, because obviously investment is not his forte. He has been a cardio surgeon all his life, have done great work in the field of social sector also. Multifaceted personality, I would say. With his own words, he will in fact talk about in this session. Otherwise, I will anyway add. So over to you, Dr. Binayak Dev. Please start this session with your inspiring words to all your. I assume, I know in fact that many of them who are right now here are your juniors only. I'm talking about the age. So at 62 years and probably 30 years of experience as a cardio surgeon, I mean, apart, you have a lot to share, and I know they will get benefited, and this recorded video will be shared to them as well. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kundan, for your kind words. And it's a real privilege to be sitting in front of all my colleagues, fraternity, medical fraternity. And I must say that, doctors, don't understand money at all. We are so busy with our, working our skills, being with people, seeing patients, operating. So the money is actually the last thing which we understand. Maybe we have earned money, but we don't understand money. So that's one thing which I find very common with a lot of medical fraternity. But I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. And not only that, I think people who are privileged in the society, particularly I've interacted with cricket players, on the top levels. I've interacted with film personalities in my journey, and I've seen that a lot of celebrities and all these people don't understand money a lot. They understand, they earn a lot of money, but they don't understand money. So this is one of the things which I thought was very important. And like you, I also thought that it's a good time that we should all get together and make sure that people who earn money should also know how to grow the money. That's very important. So let me give a little bit about my childhood, about my habits and my things. Whenever we used to get pocket money when we were kids, my habit was that a lot of my friends used to spend the entire amount of money, maybe borrow money from people. So, but my habit was that I would spend about 50% and leave the other 50%. That was something which I did from a very young age. So that was actually what I say is savings. The savings is not the same as investment. Saving is actually, the money which our grandmothers and mothers used to put aside from their daily household works and keep it under the saris and inside the, beds, and bring them out when the children's weddings are there or some occasions are there. So that is savings, because that money didn't grow. That money stayed exactly the way it was put. But that was kept aside. But that money is also very important. Savings is also a very important thing. But I understood that, during my career, that when I started in 85, 86, and when I went abroad in 87, um, the money which started earning, I never knew what to do with that money, because savings is something which doesn't allow your money to grow. So the idea of investments actually comes in. So investing money is actually wealth creation. You create that wealth, and investing money means you, or in anything, means that will have to grow as well. So money doesn't grow in trees. Money doesn't grow in piggy banks. Money doesn't grow even to the extent in fixed deposits as well. That is one of the avenues we know that a lot of people keep the money in. But I can assure you that actually there is a principal erosion if you keep money in a fixed deposit. For example, if you have 100 rupees in a fixed deposit and you have 6% uh, interest on that, so you get 106 at the end of the year, and you pay tax on it, and you get, 105 or 104 rupees, and we think that we got 104 rupees, but we have not calculated the another big aspect which needs to be calculated, and that when we add that, we see that actually the money has gone to 97, because that is something which we need to keep into account. So what has happened is your 100 rupees has become 97 rupees. That is your buying power at the end of 1 year. So we all need fixed deposit, and we all kept fixed deposit in the 90s. The fixed deposit interest rate used to be around 15%. But at that point of time, the inflation was also very high. So the inflation is something which we need to keep in account. So we need to do two things. One is actually that you have to beat the taxes and you have to beat the inflation. Then whatever money you have is actually the money which you have in hand for growth. So if you take the inflation as 7%, and if you say that your taxes is about 1% or about 2%, so you're talking about really 8 to 9%. Minimum is your earning or your growth has to be 12%. Then your earnings is actually 3%. So you make 103 rupees if your growth is 112 rupees. That's the basic calculation. So it's very easy actually to make that 112 rupees. So what I have never done in my life is uh, I was always a debt-free person. That was something which I always believed in, that I did not believe in debts, because that is something which did not allow me to sleep very well. I pay my taxes well, I am debt-free. And these are the two areas which I thought, doesn't give you blood pressure and blood sugars and, the other problems in life. So I don't believe in LIC policies. And I think Kundan can elaborate on that, why LIC policy is actually not a great idea, because if you go into the intricacies of the LIC policy, you'll see that it is lesser than the fixed deposit which they pay at the end of your 20-25 years. So they talk about pension plans, they talk about other things. It's a great instrument in India with millions of people in getting involved in it, and it's one of the largest company in India with so much of market capitalization. But it does not pay you money. So basically, you get lesser than fixed deposit if you park your money in fixed deposit in LIC. Fixed deposit, as I mentioned, is an instrument, but yes, fixed deposit required because your liquidity in fixed deposit is very high, and part of your money has to be in fixed deposit. So I'm coming to the point now that what else is there. So another instrument which people do not understand investment and do not understand money is actually the mutual funds, which is a great thing which everybody talks about, mutual funds. So you sit in a chamber, you sit in your clinic, you sit in your hospital, and you see your secretary is calling up and saying that, there are a couple of people come from the banks or some mutual fund companies have come to see you, sir. They'll come in and they'll explain that these are great, investment opportunity tools, and they've given you fantastic returns of, 17, 18, 20% returns over the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever, And then they ask you for that money. And because we do not understand investments, we tell, okay, that's great. They'll give you some brochures. And we see that a lot of our colleagues, they park their money in mutual funds. Yes, Kundan.
So before we move to the mutual fund thing, sir, I think we can break this discussion, over different asset classes which you are talking about. So the very first thing you spoke about, that yes, we need to save, right? We should have a habit of saving money. The very first thing, because only when we save money, we can invest it anywhere. And we should not be taking debts unless and until we are businessmen. To create businesses, you need debt. To create something, we all have limited what you can say, position, and we always can take position, and for that only we have this company's law. You can form a company, the company will take the loan. You can always keep yourself separate from that. So anybody can make a company. Even people who are doctors, they can make hospitals, which will be part of a company only. So certainly on personal side, we should not be taking debt for our own luxury. So that is a very good point put across. The second thing which you came is like, yes, no debt and saving. And then obviously for liquidity purpose, we should all have fixed deposits. So a lot of people who are into financial services industry, the very first thing what they start with, एफडी मत करो, कुछ नहीं मिलता है वहां पे. But you are the very first person, sir, who yesterday agreed upon that yes, FD is very, very important. In fact, on another day, I was talking to another doctor, and we had the same discussion. And after probably 15-20 minutes, he agreed upon the need of FD also. So probably all your net worth, 10-15% should be there in FD. Third asset class which you went on ago was about LIC, and there where you mentioned that I should also put my point. So I would like to put the same point, sir, what you said yesterday about your own profession. Taking that reference will help people understand that the moment we go into two different roles, it creates a lot of conflict of interest. Like me being a financial advisor, or me being a teacher recommending you certain product, create a lot of financial, a lot of conflict of interest. So here, this is the biggest conflict of interest with LIC. I think we all can write even to the government of India. I've been writing also, and I've been talking about this on public platform as well, that LIC job is to secure people, insure people. I mean, we probably even need a law where insurance companies should not be allowed even to bring the investment products. So most of the investment products which come wrapped in a package with investment and insurance together are actually very difficult to decode. And for that reason, what happens that even the real purpose of the insurance don't get served. So at this point of time, I think most of the people, the kind of network or the kind of agent network I would say LIC have, maximum people who have started earning, they got touched by one or the other relatives who are LIC agent, and they have put into, they have asked them, they told them LIC is probably the best thing to do, and they always sell them endowment policies, which is like investment and insurance together. I would say that not getting a great return or a good return is one thing, which is like obviously, if we part both of the things separate, like you give 100 rupees, how much of it went into investment and how much of it went into insurance is something we need to understand. But even if we are not understanding anything and getting lesser return there, I'm still okay with it. But what I'm not okay with, or what I find really a worrisome situation, is that because of this nature of LIC, many Indians are underinsured right now. So people give a lot of money to LIC. They give probably 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 20,000, 30,000 even monthly. But then when they get to know that they are insured only by very little amount. However, if LIC would have only pitched insurances like term insurance or health insurance, where they are just taking the policy amount, the way you take the car insurance, basically, you give a premium. If anything happens to your car, you get, the full damage protection. But in case of endowment policies, it's very difficult to decode, and because of that reason, I think the whole country is very much unsecured. With a very little amount of premium, every family could have an insurance of 1 crore. So if we see the crime rates or the sense of insecurity or so many societal level problem that comes because of the lack of money, also comes because of the lack of sense of security. So if that lack of sense of security will go away from our society, I think it will be a better society. If we compare it with the developed nation, we could see it very well, that how people are highly secured, got a big backup from the government. So we are not saying that government should back up 130, 140 crore of people, but certainly organization like LIC, where Indian trust them a lot, they should be pitching more like insurance products and very, very less investment products. Otherwise, it will be always a situation where people will think that they are taking insurance. However, what they will be actually doing is investment in small packages, which will fetch them very poor return, and at the same time, they will stay underinsured also. So everybody who is listening to this, This is one of the reason I think Dr. Binayak Deb also understand, though he highlighted the part that it gives you a very poor return. And I would like to add that it not only give you poor return, what it also make you that it makes you confused. Each one of you, even before starting any investment, should be highly secured first. I know you all are doctors. You have a very good network, and God forbid, anybody can get hospitalized, and we all know the hospital bills these days. It will be equally the same for even you doctors, people. So I recommend you all to be fully insured in terms of term policy and health policy. What do you think, Dr. Binayak Dev, on this? You can put your points also, sir. You are on mute, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, as you correctly mentioned, that insurance, what I tried to say was that LIC should not be a part of investment. If anything can insure you, you should be insured as well. But I think, as I mentioned to you yesterday, that medical insurance is something which health insurance should be a part of every Indian. I mean, a lot of people, when I come across, they have insurance of about 5 lakhs, something like that, which is a very, very mere a meager amount in today's world. So I think it is very important that we understand that besides investments, we need to insure ourselves medically or health wise so that we are covered properly. Because that is one area where the money can leak very fast if you're in a hospital. If you're in a private hospital, basically, not a public hospital. Public hospitals is something which is a different domain. So coming back to investment, I think, I mean, the other area of investment which I find with doctors, fraternity is real estate. So I know a lot of people who buy flats after flats after flats, and they think it's a great investment. For me, uh, real estate and expensive cars are not good investment because a car, when it rolls out of the showroom, immediately it depreciates 50% straight away. So that is not a great investment. So I think you should have cars which are utility cars, and of course, people who love cars can have better cars, but they should understand that it is not a good investment. It's a part of life. It's a part of your luxury. It's a part of your passion. That's different. So it's not a good investment. Secondly, again, as I mentioned, real estate. Real estate, a lot of people think land and apartments, they're good investment. I'm sure that our medical fraternity, we all invest quite a bit in our uh, uh, real estate. So why real estate is not a good investment? The reason is because when we buy something, say for 1 crore in a particular area, which is a say upbeat area today, and 20 years later, we think that that will give you a 10x return. It does not. The reason is your flat has depreciated, number one. Number two, the amenities which we expect in the current scenario, contemporary scenario, is not available in that particular flat anymore. So today, if you see, if you go and buy something, you are buying not a standalone flats anymore. You are buying condominiums. You're buying flats in a condominiums which has so many amenities. So 10 years later, there will be a lot more amenities which we can't even imagine today. So your flat, which you bought for a particular amount, does not fetch you the 10x return which you thought as an investment you had. So my take on the investment in real estate is that you have to have a flat of your own for a dwelling. That can be a good one as per your requirement, as per your taste. And if you are a doctor, if you need a clinic, of course, that is also a part of it investment because you are making money out of it. So these are the two areas. But extra flats as a part of investment, I do not actually subscribe to that. Maybe I can have your views on that.
Right, sir. So I know I'm supposed to talk more geeky terms where how exactly any investment is faring, but somehow I end up doing always this, the society first, country first kind of thing. Another reason, I mean, the way I told you about insurance part, that because of the insurance thing, LIC thing, and endowment policy, whole country is under insured. Similarly, I want to tell you that there is a reason also that we should be not buying more flats. Okay, because if we buy more flats where we are not going to stay, we're creating nothing but artificial demand of these houses. So overall, needy people, I mean, you would have seen there was a surge in real estate prices like anything in last 15, 20 years. Because one of the reason was like so many builders were coming up with the flat and so many people who had the disposable incomes, they were started buying three, four, five flats. So the moment you start becoming an investor into multiple flats, you are doing nothing but artificially increasing the price of the flat. So the actual needy one won't be able to buy it, and I don't think this we should anyway do. But I slightly disagree on the part of whether real estate is an investment or not. Okay, so see, sir, I feel that real estate in the purest form is land actually. If you can buy land, we all are living in metro city for sure, but one thing I know that doctors and engineers comes from the middle class or probably upper middle class family. We all have one or the other roots. We have our small towns, some people come even from the villages. So wherever you have eligibility, if you can buy some land for you, probably that could be a very, very good investment. The only difference between land and flat is also a commodity. So you have put a lot of amenities into that flat, which will obviously get depreciated. So it's something like buying gold jewelry from Tanishq, where you are making 33% making cost. So the moment you buy a jewelry and give 33% of the making cost, obviously you have inflated the price of the gold. And you have paid 1 lakh rupees, but actually you have got 67,000 rupees kind of gold. But on the other hand, if you are investing into government bonds or government which are offering these days about gold thing, they are I think giving extra 4% apart from the gold price appreciation. I don't remember exactly, but
2.5% per annum.
2.5%, right? So that is what I would call the land piece. It will not get depreciated because the need of the land will always be there. However, this house is having a combination of both, a bit portion of real estate and a lot of portion of amenities, which will probably depreciate over time, and that's why you would not get great returns in the flat, but certainly in lands you can get a good return. So I have been a stock market guy, and from 2006 to 2014 I worked in investment banking industry, and we were not supposed to trade, and even we were supposed to invest, we had to take a lot many approvals. And because of that reason we were very much worried about whether we should be investing or not. So the way in Munna Bhai MBBS, I think the doctor said that you if you operate on your own kid, your hand will tremble, right? Like some kind of dialogue. So even when we were working in the same industry, we were very much worried about exposing ourselves to the risk of equity because of only one reason, and that was our profession was also stock market. And if whatever we are saving or earning, if we are putting it in the stock market, something happens wrong, which keeps on happening in every 5-10 years, then we will be exposed to a great risk. And for that reason, other asset class which we always look after, or I personally looked out, is real estate. So I invested whatever I was earning and saving between 2006, 2005 to 2014, and I invested in most of the agricultural land or commercial land in my hometowns and some other places, and they all gave me. I never calculated the CAGR, but what I can tell you that in 2006 I bought something in 100 rupees, and right now it's giving me 2500 rupees, means 25x it has become. Some of it has become 20x, some of it become 15x, and whenever I bought the houses they have become 2x or 2.5x. So with my own personal experience I can tell you that certainly one house we all need, which we can call our street adobe, where we have to live with our family. But apart from that, certainly we should not be buying more flats. But yeah, if you can find some good land somewhere and you think that, because these days you can protect the land, it is not a big issue. Everything is very much digitalized, it will be on your name. It's very difficult that someone will capture or something, because these kind of issues used to happen in land pieces. So this is what my points are, sir. This is what I wanted to put across.
Yeah. The next issue is of course the mutual funds which we discussed. So why not mutual funds, and why go straight into stock market? So I started my stock market journey in 2001 when the dot-com bubble happened actually, and that's where my journey started. So few things which I do not do while I delve into stock market is I don't trade, because my core competence that I'm a cardiologist and you are a financial banker by profession. So you have the knowledge of stock market technicals. I do not have the time or my knowledge about stock market technicals at all. So what the stock is going to do in the morning, in the afternoon, tomorrow, in a week's time, during the expiry, I have no knowledge about it. So my core competence being cardiology, and I understood that I will buy a part of the business, good business, and keep it for a long time to give me good returns. So what I did not do in stock market is trading, futures, options. What I did was that I invested in stock market. So some people would say that stock market brokers would say, "Sir, you are not a stock market guy because you don't trade." I don't think that is right, because I buy a part of business, so I am part of stock market as well. So my journey into stock market from 2001 to 2022 today is that I believed in long-term holding of good stocks. The reason I'm telling is because there are three variables when you are in stock market. One is the capital which you will invest. Number two is the growth of the company in which you are invested, and third is the time frame. So the two things is in your hands. One thing is the capital which is in your hand, and if you are young, I mean, we know that in our medical profession, when you are in our late 20s, early 30s, we don't make a lot of money. We are hardly, I mean, just floating our head above the water compared to our colleagues in other fraternities. That is for sure. So that a lot of my esteemed colleagues will agree that this is not the time when we have made actually any good amount of money. So basically, the capital limitations we had. Secondly, we do not have any control over the growth of the company which we are going to get invested. Only thing which we have in our hand is actually the time we want to get invested. So I think if you have capital in one hand and growth in one hand, so the time is something which we have in our hand completely. Whether you want to get invested for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, that's up to you. So I think if you see the story of the stock market, that people who have made money, people who have actually generated wealth, they have made money because they have been invested at all points of time. And that all point of time is very, very important, because when people are panicking, that's when actually people who are great have made money. That is the exact thing about the stock market. So I think, I mean, what I do not do again as an practice is I do not look into the Sensex and Nifties on a daily basis. Maybe, once in a fortnight, once in 10 days, I have a look into it, see what the companies are doing. Because stock prices actually do not reflect actually the stock, the quality of business you are in. The quality of business is reflected by other parameters, which we will discuss maybe in our courses later on. So the stock price is only a reflection of what somebody has sold and somebody has bought. That is a stock price. It does not tell you that you are in a good business or a bad business. For example, if you take Yes Bank, it was a great bank stock price for 10 years, but that did not make Yes Bank a good business, because when it crashed in a very heavy way. So basically, looking into a stock price is not a good idea when you are investing into a business. So I think there are a lot more fundamentals which you need to look into. What I did personally is I never speculated in any business. Like for today, if we speculate on electric cars, we speculate on artificial intelligence, these are the companies which are coming. We don't know. Green energy is another one. We do not know exactly what it's going to do in 10 years' time. But I'm sure about one thing, that Hindustan Unilever products are going to be there for the next 10 years. I know that baby milk is going to be there for the next 50 years. I know that Asian Paints is going to be there for the next 100 years, because these are the things which we absolutely need. I know that banking system is going to be there for the next God knows how many years. I also know an internet system, digital thing is going to be there in the next 50 years. These are the things absolutely I know. I know also that you require a good footwear, like shoes, like clothes. these are going to be there for the next 50 years. So Warren Buffett very famously told that he believed in chewing gum story, because he believed that everybody is going to, bite into a chewing gum for the next 100 years. Doesn't matter how, it is going to be there. So basically, you have to believe in the story of something which is going to be there for the next 10 years. What has happened in the last 10 years is only a reflection of what can happen. It is not exactly, it cannot guarantee you that, that next 10 years is going to be great on that story. So first of all, I think when we invest, we have to understand that the story is a good story, and the story is actually a solid story. And then I think we have to get into the stock market. The stock market is something, if we is nothing about emotions. It's actually, you don't need a lot of brains to be in a stock market as well. I think people who are very high IQ, I don't think they make a lot of money. I think people with moderate IQ and a lot of patience, they make actually a lot of money, stock market. And I think our basis of finance in this world is actually investing in companies. Whether the bank is doing it for you, whether a mutual fund is doing it for you, whether some other institutions are doing it for you, they're going, the avenue is actually the stock market. The avenue is actually investing in businesses. So if we, as doctors, we understand that we can go directly into the stock market and invest there, and then bypass these avenues, then we save at least 6, 7, 8% easily. Because if you are in a mutual fund, the mutual fund guy will rip off at least 2% straight away from what you have invested. For every 100 rupees you invest, you are actually investing 98 rupees, because 2 rupees you are already given away. That is called the expense ratio. So that is straight. And if you go direct, even in a mutual fund, you can invest 99.9 rupees. So this is actually the magic of investing directly in the stock market. Kundan?
Not only 99.9, sir, now there are stockbroking firms who don't charge actually anything from you as brokerage. I don't know their revenue model, but this is how they work these days. They charge from the traders, and for long-term investors, they can give you even like free brokerage kind of thing. So you can invest as much as you want. But yeah, let's round it out to 99.9%. And yeah, I mean, if you look at the developed nation, I don't think anywhere right now you have a situation where they are charging upfront 2% or 2.5%. Of late we have seen the interest rate has been almost getting equal. Like, we used to hear that in US you have interest rate of only 0.5%, but they have increased the rate so many times in last 1.5 year. And in our country also, the growth rate we don't see more than 4.5%, 5%. You get in FD 6% kind of thing, and there if you are paying away straightforward 2% expense ratio, on that again GST will be charged as well. So 2.5% if you are giving it straight away, I'm not sure. I mean, I come from that industry, so for me it's like just talking against my own industry. But the truth is truth, all right. Truth is truth, which is like yes, if you can simplify it, stay in Nifty 50 companies. If you don't know much about it, don't do much experimentation. But yeah, you have the similar kind of conviction what Dr. Binayak Deb has, that you know what is going to stay, and those businesses being run by the right people who don't have any compliance issues or honesty issue or issue related with any kind of mismanagement, and you have a conviction, you are the user of those product and services, you can certainly go into that investment. So more or less what we were talking right now was about, should we do mutual fund or we should do direct equity. So sir has an opinion that we should be doing direct equity and investing is not that difficult. I completely agree with him. And what I also think that even if you want to take some professional help, so mutual fund buying is kind of taking some professional help. Okay, when we visit doctors, they told us one thing these days. They say that, अरे WhatsApp University पे तो बहुत कुछ है, right? Did you go through the WhatsApp University and tried this medication yourself? And we have no other choice but to say sorry. So yeah, there are good professionals also, and sometimes doing by yourself may have a little kind of risk, but then in the process you will learn. And both of the things are very, very different. Here, your health is directly at stake. So certainly we should not go to the WhatsApp University. Here, your money is at stake, which probably you can earn it again, even if you're doing some mistake. So we cannot compare it apple to apple, but I was just giving a reference. Another point here is that does it mean that all professional people in the investment industry should shut their shop because everybody's going to do it on their themselves? The answer is no. You can go to those people who are offering it at a very, very low price in the beginning, which means that the fixed prices are very, very low. So I'm a big advocate of a kind of institution which is probably asking you to just give them 500 or 1000 rupees in a year as a fixed fee. Okay, as an investment advisor, he's charging you a fixed fee of 1000 rupees probably. And only when he's performing, what I mean to say by performing is if you have given him certain objective and he's able to meet that objective and you both agreed upon this in the beginning, then based on the performance, if he's charging you some more, you should be paying him more, but only when you have achieved he has achieved something for you. What is happening in the fixed fee model is that whether he perform for you or not, if he is charging upfront 2.5%, it is certainly going to be not a very, very, I would say, professional approach. I have a strong feeling that professional investment advisors will take the front seat, and people will start shifting from mutual fund companies to these professional investment advisors, or this industry will lower down the fee. They will lower down it to 20 paisa, 25 paisa. Otherwise, sooner or later, the more education we have, the better aware society we have. Certainly this has to come down. I mean, when you used to get 15% on FD, and that time a mutual fund manager is asking you 1%, 1.5%, it was still okay. But now when the FD rate is 6%, the fixed fee should come down below 50 paisa in mutual fund industry. I feel like that way, sir. But we cannot rule out completely the role of professionals. If some people feel that they should go to some professional, they should go to those professional who have SEBI registered investment advisory license, who offer their services at a very, very low price, and they help you achieve your objective, provided some extra fee in case. So if I have to put it in a very numerical way, then probably you can say that, okay, so you met one investment advisor who promised you that I will help you get better return than Nifty. So if Nifty is going up by 15%, your portfolio will show 20%. And if I help you do that, for that extra 5%, you should be paying me probably some portion of it. And I mean, investment advisors can charge in that model also as per SEBI. Then someone can tell you that I can be market neutral. I can create a market neutral product for you. Doesn't matter. Market goes 20% up or come down 20%. In any of the case, I will beat FD for you. So for example, FD is 6% and he's able to make 20% for you. Then if he's charging further 1% or maybe 10% or 15% of the extra profit what he has generated for you, you should happily be giving him. I mean, that's how the professional approach can become. But upfront 2.5% is certainly very, very high. A nominal fee is okay. Professional help is again okay, but that has a right balance. That has to have a right balance actually. So more or less, I'm on the same page with you, sir. But if some people want to go to some professional help, they can go look around for the right investment advisor people, but not the tip sellers or something like that. Yeah, so that was my take, sir. More or less the same what you said. Just added the new thing about this. I do have a responsibility to speak on behalf of my own profession and the people who are into this profession. A lot of youngsters take up a career into it also, the BCom graduates or the MBA graduates. They want to become good ethical investment advisors. So certainly you people should give chance to them also if they are offering it to you at a very, very minimal cost, and they are believer of the fair capitalism, who are like, I'll charge you when I'm performing well. So something like that, if you meet across someone like that, certainly you can take his help, professional
Yeah,
help.
but Kundan, there's one issue here because I think, as I mentioned, the doctors who are starting a career, I mean, they will not be in a position to give the park amount of money which actually the PMS are charging these days. It's at least 50 lakhs now. That's the minimum amount they want. Uh,
That's into
yeah.
PMS, sir. But apart from PMS, for all your information, I can give you that there is another model. It is called investment advisory model. So there are people
Mhm.
who are registered investment advisors.
Because I'm telling you about people who actually visit us, I mean, because the doctors are visited by these PMS people and they want a minimum. It was 25 lakhs before, now it's 50 lakhs. So that is an impossibility because for
Correct.
people who are in their 25 to 30, 30 to 35 age bracket, that is not possible. For them, which I tell them that do go in a systemic investment plan, not for mutual funds, but for buying stocks. To
Yeah,
buy good stocks at
correct.
every price. Don't worry about something is 1500 today, 1800 tomorrow, 2100 day after tomorrow. Again, it's back to 1200. Just buy them on a systemic investment plan. Do your own systemic investment plan and
Exactly.
park an amount of exact amount of money on a regular basis.
Right.
Because young professionals, they will be able to do this, but
Right.
what they cannot do is actually take a amount of money, big amount of money, and park it with some professional. That is not possible.
Right.
So we are talking about, I am not talking about individuals who are in their 50s and 60s who are very successful professionals having that kind of money. I'm talking about doctors who are in their starting their career and going in their in the journey of investing. For them, I think the assuring thing is that even if you have less amount of money, you can actually park that money on a monthly installments and still have a good amount of stocks at the end of 10 years. So do
Right.
not worry about the stock price. Do not worry about what the stock market is doing. Do not worry about the Ukraine war with Russia. Do not worry what America is doing. Do not worry what China is doing because India's story in the next 10 to 20 years is going to be the best story in the globe today. And that is for sure. People who will be invested for the next 10 to 15 years are going to make an enormous amount of wealth, believe it or not.
100% agree with you, sir. 100%. I was just putting the point which I would again like to stress here that see, in PMS again they charge you 2.5% kind of fund management fee, and since one ticket size is of 50 lakh, obviously one visit will fetch them 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh rupees. All right. So for that reason, they promote this product. The very same way endowment product has been pushed by LIC, and LIC agents would have pushed very little, effort they would have put to push something like term policy. Because term policy, the premium will be 10,000 rupees, commission will be 1,500 rupees out of it. In endowment policy, there will be better premium, and the premium is also high, better percentage on the cut. But yes, government SEBI, they have made even other licenses. Obviously very few people prefer them to practice, but there are people, sir. So they have, so SEBI has given also a license called registered investment advisors. Okay. And they cannot take over of your account. So in PMS, what happens that you give away your account, you sign a MOU with
3 years lock in. Yeah.
right, kind of lock in. Some nowadays offer also 1 year lock in. But yes, here you give away everything. You give away the account, they take the trade, they give you the report. In registered investment advisory model, what they give you is like they can give you the advice. You have to operate your account yourself, and they can charge a minimum fee of even 500 rupees. The only problem right now is there are very few people practice, but the way technology has evolved and solved a lot of problem. If some of you have heard about small case, few engineers made that. So people who run these small cases, they are having no other license but registered investment advisory license. And some small cases are expensive, some small cases are even 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, but I'm sure there are some small cases which is also in 1,000 rupees probably in 6 months or something like that. So all I was saying that yeah, sometimes it's worth exploring even those opportunity where you can get the fair professional help. All right. And that is available even for those people who want to just invest 10,000, 20,000 rupees per month. Just a different viewpoint, that's all. Otherwise, whatever you said, Dr. Binayak, I completely agree on that. I think we all deserve to save our money first before we make any other money. So the moment you choose direct equity over mutual fund, you are basically saving 2.5% upfront. All right. So what will happen in future is a different thing. upfront you have saved your 2.5%. I'm not sure whether mutual fund people are going to sue me for conducting this and reiterating it again and again. They spend a lot of money promoting this mutual fund Sahiya event. The story behind that is like it is not supposed to be a marketing this thing, because the money which they put across is probably the education fund what mutual fund has created out of certain percentage of it, that they have to spread the right financial education. And on the name of right financial education, what they are doing these days, from not these days, from I think 5 6 7 years, mutual funds advertisement, so bringing celebrities, and I've been writing about it and talking about it on YouTube from very long time. But I feel that still mutual fund is one of the most favorable asset class right now. I feel not because of the kind of return that industry has given, but more or less because uh, I mean that's very easy to pitch, very easy to adopt, and we have
See,
black.
Kundan, it's very strange to me that, in mutual fund, you will have at least, 70, 80 stocks. And then some stocks exposure is 1%, 0.5%. Can you tell me, even if that stock makes 20x, what is going to be a return that in that particular stock? So I don't understand, the whole concept of having 60, 70 stocks. And in some stocks, you have a exposure of 1%, 1.5%, 2%. It's crazy, absolutely. I mean, you cannot make money that way.
Right.
Cannot, because uh, even if that makes you give you 20x, it's nothing at the end of the day. So I don't like the idea of mutual fund, because I think people who understand investment, they should understand that mutual fund is going through stock market, through investing in companies. So you do it yourself, and make the if you believe in a story, make your exposure 10% there, 15% there. Then if that business gives you 10x, you will have substantial money at the end of the day. Because no point in having 1 rupee put and then you get 10 rupees at the end of 5 years. That money is no good to you.
Right, right, right. So I think enough risk already taken, sir, today by bashing this mutual fund thing. I can be in trouble. I feel like that way sometime, because from the day I've started this course, a complete course on Indian stock market, many time I've been into trouble. Got a lot of calls from here and there. Because I've been talking few such things which probably goes completely against my industry, but nevertheless we'll stop that bashing here itself, and we'll move forward. And I see some known faces here. One person I know out of all these names are Harish Pathak. He has been a trader as well, very successful trader. The way you have been a very successful investor, and some more names here, but I'm not very familiar with many of them. So like gentlemen, if you have any question from Dr. Binayak Deb or even from me, this has become more like a session of Dr. Binayak Deb, where he has very openly, very candidly shared his experience. Now he'll share it more. We can continue it, but you will have to ask few questions, like whatever the doubts you have or anything you want to say. Or before they ask any questions, sir, anything you would like to summarize on whole, or anything you wanted to add? Sorry, I interrupted you in the middle.
I think we basically covered a lot of it, and I think for I'm more in I think these courses and everything should be more geared toward young professionals, not only in medical but in other areas where they do not have too much money to park for investment, but they have enough amount of time in their hands. Like I at 62, the N factor is limited for me compared to somebody who is 25 today. So let us give them the opportunity and the knowledge of what a good business means, and let them invest in the good business, so that in 30 years time, when maybe we are not around, they'll think about us that they actually got into this kind of engagement with this kind of discussion, and they were given a proper guidelines to how to invest.
Great. So I think more guidelines you have to give, because we have three questions. Okay. First question is from Hari Santosh. Dr. Binayak sir, did you take help from someone before investing in a stock market? How did you learn?
I did not take, because if you see that in 2000, 2001, we did not have many people who were into stock market. Even today in India's penetration of stock market is hardly 3 to 4%. And where in USA, you know that penetration is about 48%. So we are hardly into medical insurance. We are hardly into stock market really. So yeah, we did not have much help. But what I actually learned a lot was from reading books. Particularly, Warren Buffett was one of the guys who has inspired me. And you have to understand that Warren Buffett made a lot of money only after the age of 55. Before that, he did not make that much money. And Warren Buffett's philosophy of investing is something that his annualized return is only 19%. And that made him the fifth wealthiest person on the planet. And his annualized return is 19% year after year. So it's not that you require 35, 40, 50% annualized return. So for us, I think an annualized return of 15% is very, very good for us. And getting a 15% annualized return year after year is not a big issue at all. I can tell you that. So if you have annual return of 15%, even 13 to 14% for the next 30 years, believe me, you will not require anything else in life in terms of money.
And without taking any advantage of what I already know about Dr. Binayak, very few things I want to add up. So if Warren Buffett have made 19%, what my discussion with Dr. Binayak has had, he has made more than 21% compounded from in last 22 years, and he's only 62. So maybe we will have a doctor here who will be our own Warren Buffett soon in form of Dr. Binayak sir. And another point which you said, sir, was about learning through the books and all those things. Yeah, I mean that is there. And one thing which I also want to highlight about sir is like he actually had one multi-bagger in his account. I don't want to take the name or something. If he's comfortable, he can talk about. But yeah, that has given him probably 300x or 200x. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, good one. And he never parted away from that stock. That is the beauty. So it would have given him a lot of you know having that constant is very important. Like वो हमेशा मन तो करता ही होगा कि बेच दें, बट उसको बनाए रखने के लिए बहुत पेशेंस चाहिए, बहुत डिसिप्लिन चाहिए. So the role of discipline is equally important in our life. All right.
I can tell you that actually shared my experience because we are all doctors here. That we understand medical industry very well. So I, being a cardiologist, cardiac surgeon, I understand my profession. So this talk which Kundan was referring to was actually a medical company stock. So basically, I understood that company very well. I understood the business very well. I knew where it was going. So that knowledge about that particular business allowed me to hang on to that stock forever, for 22 years. For other stocks, I have not been, I have not done that. I have stayed invested for maybe, 15 years, 17 years, 10 years, 12 years, but I have parted with those stocks from here and there. But for this particular stock, I never parted because I knew this business very well. So core competency in a particular business is so very important. So if you are doctors, if you understand that some pharma companies, some medical products, which you think is going to be, a future, you cannot predict a multi-bagger. You can only predict the future of a particular business. And that will itself give you a multi-bagger. Multi-bagger doesn't happen like that. Multi-bagger happens because the business is very good. So that is something which you as doctors can think about. So I can tell you that we do not understand banks. We do not understand, internet banking. We do not understand digital things. We do not understand AI, but we understand medical stuff. We understand companies, pharmaceutical companies. We understand the products they're dealing with. We understand the devices they're dealing with. So you can actually go into these companies and see what is a good business for them. What is a good idea which is going to be there. Like insulin is a great idea. Insulin is something which is going to be there forever. So if you have any companies which who are doing insulin, maybe that is one of the areas which you think about. So what I'm trying to give an example that core competence in a particular area is important. And out of the 25, 30 years in market, if you have 25 stocks, one multi-bagger is good enough. That is my take on the subject. One multi-bagger is going to give you create the wealth, but do not be afraid. Do not look into the stock market. Do not look into the Sensex and Nifty. The Sensex and Nifties represent a lot of businesses. They do not represent your business per se. They represent a summation of a lot of businesses. So it does not matter. And you will be surprised to know only five stocks in Indian stock market as gives you 80% returns. Only five stocks, five businesses. So, and the rest, 4,500 and 900 businesses gives you the rest of 30, 40% return. So you will have to pick up those businesses. So how to pick up businesses? If you can understand the ethos, understand the story, if you have the competence of reading into the balance sheet, because I think Kundan can actually help you how to read a balance sheet. I think that is one thing, Kundan, you can actually help our fraternity to understand how to read the basics of a balance sheet. Because I think, businesses are run by balance sheet. You cannot lie on a balance sheet because these are audited business. And auditor's report, I think, is one of the very, very key component in a balance sheet. If you read auditor's report, they cannot lie on auditor's report because they will be penalized. You know that very well, Kundan. So I think auditor's report, reading a balance sheet, this is something which you have to understand. So what I have done, I have Excel sheet of all my companies which I have on my left hand side, and I have all the ratios on the top, and I have year wise, the figures which I have put. This is just for a glance which I have. So every morning I do not look into stock market, but I look into this areas and see what things can improve here. Basically, when you're looking into stock markets, uh, in the stocks, look into the businesses, learn to read auditors report, learn to read balance sheets. And I think this is a good exercise which you can do over weekends. You do not have to spend waste time from 9 to 3 looking into television sets or your mobile phones. These are very distracting, mind you. I have seen a lot of my colleagues lose a lot of money, not only money, lose a lot of skill, reputation, because they have been trading in stock market and they have lost a lot of money. And it's utter misery, I tell you, believe me or not, utter misery which I've seen in their faces just because they have been into stock market and they have tried to do things on their own from advices and from television people who are talking about these things. So my advice would be that do not get involved in these things. Young professionals go on a systemic investment plan, buy your own stocks, uh, and try to read balance sheet and see the auditor's report, and then you can understand what is a good business and how they're doing, what they're doing with the money. Like free cash flow is something which I always look into any business. So free cash flow is after you do not look into the net profit or the gross profit or the profit after taxes. It is not the tax which you look into. You look into the free cash flow, which means that the money which you have in your hand after giving out everything. So that then comes what are you going to do with that free cash flow? Are you going to buy Manchester United with that? Are you going to buy Mumbai Indians with that? Are you going to buy a villa with that? So if you are doing that, that means you are actually spending my money to buy that, which I am not going to enjoy anyway. So I don't subscribe to that. But if you are going to set up factories after factories after factories to make more of these successful business, I'm with you there because you are actually doing it on my behalf. I can't set up factories for you, but you are doing it on my behalf with the money which I've given you. So I am a part of the investing journey of your business, but I can have no control over what you are doing with the free cash flow. That is unfortunate bit. So I feel that free cash flow is something which you must look into, and you also must look into what they're going to do with that free cash flow. So do not be overwhelmed when you hear that somebody is buying a villa there, somebody is buying a franchisee here and there, cricket franchisee, football franchisee. They're doing it with your money, and you are not going to get a part of that. You are not going to live in that villa. They are going to live in that villa with your money.
Amazing, sir. You have made a fan out of me today because free cash flow is something, yes, I do believe, but the way you have explained, the importance of that free cash flow and where that is getting used is amazing, sir. I mean, Kingfisher is this example I can tell to people, and they will be able to relate with the theory which you said right now and what happened to that company. So very well put across, sir. Thank you very much for that. And I'll make a specific video on this. The way you said that I should be, I'm obviously like balance sheet, profit loss statement, and cash flow statement. I have included in the course. I have told them in a very simplistic manner also. But one video now deserve a place in my course, which is a complete course on Indian stock market, only on free cash flow and what people are or what companies are going to do with that free cash flow. And that's really wonderful, sir. I mean, I can get at least 50 examples of what you said actually to make it people more
Exactly.
realize that what has happened with those companies who have misutilized this free cash flow with them. So thank you very much. All right, so we have another question from Dr. Ajay Yadav, and another thing which you highlighted while answering them is about the trading part, where people are involved a lot into trading, just glued their screen, losing their even reputation, and that. I mean, you're losing reputation in your own eyes also, like from a well-to-do person, you have basically become gambler because that kind of feeling it gives you the moment you start losing money and you start, you know. Trading on the tips of others or those things. So I have been talking about this from very long time, but thank you very much that you have put it across. I
I
have.
think Harisantosh Agarwal he has asked a question, a very important question that which a lot of my colleagues also asked after listening to me, that whether they should take out the money which they have already invested. No, you should not take out the money which you have already invested, but you should stop investing any further. Do not take out the money from the mutual funds which you have already invested, because I think if you have done it for 3 years, 2 years, you will not have made much money right now. So if they are good mutual funds, keep it for 10 years, leave it there, you'll make a decent amount of money from there, or whatever it is. But from now on, I think you should invest directly into stocks. This is my take. But
So
if your mutual funds are not great, so because what happens is, I mean, you take out the money right now and you have not made much, maybe some losses are there, and you put it in stock market, and in 2 years' time again you start thinking, my God, I have not made any money either from this one. So then you are completely confused. I always tell people that if you have put money somewhere, leave it there for the moment, start investing in another forum, and maybe when the money grows to say 8, 10, 12%, then if you think that you should take it out, then take it out. But don't take it out when your money is either in the negative or something, unless the mutual fund is really a bad one. This is my take on it.
So how I'll break it now is this way that if your investment is in negative and you think that because that 2.5% of the expense ratio it is in negative, so according to sir, stay invested. But sir, here one point is that what if I'm invested into mutual fund and I'm in positive, little positive, let's say, and I know that now that next year again the same expense ratio they are going to deduct from my account. So, for example, if I have invested 1 crore and it is right now 1.2 crore, and I know that it is 1.2 crore only because the market has also gone up. Right now, if we see the graph of the market, it's like this. We have never seen this kind of graph if we look the last 20 years graph of Nifty. So, a lot of people started their investment journey in last 3 4 years, 2 years, 3 years after Corona. So, some of them will be certainly in positive, right? And that could be their that could be their their what you can say, their luck probably, or their vision, or whatever you call it, and or the timing that they got into the market during that time, now it's in positive, but now they know that they are giving some 2.5% expense ratio. What do you recommend to them if someone is sitting with 20% profit and market is also like this?
I think you have to be very sure that that if you take out money today and you are investing in today's market, you have to be very patient for the next 7, 8 years until
So that's a separate agenda altogether that will apply
yeah.
to both the person who
No,
is.
because what are you going to do with that money? If you take it out, what are you going to do with that money straight away? I mean, are you going to invest the whole amount in this market today?
I can tell you certainly my approach, but I want to
Hmm.
hear your opinion on it. So if somebody,
I think because I believe in long-term investing, I believe that if somebody is invested for 2 years in a mutual fund, even if you have 20%, I think don't take out the entire amount. I think keep something there and take out something and put it into the stock market. Because
okay,
yeah, I mean that is something which I would say that if you have already invested and you are in the positive, maybe you are just about getting there, but don't take out the entire amount. Take out the amount which you think is actually giving you the highest return right now. And some things which are really bad ones, you can take them out because that you can actually find out which are the bad investments you have made. Because I'm sure that if you have made a investment of 1 CR on mutual fund, all are, cannot be very good if you have only done 20%.
right. So my answer on this would be, sir, like, so you can break it out the whole mutual fund thing into two part. There is a exit load also. So if some of your funds have already crossed that point where there will be no exit load applied and they have given you decent return, you can come out of it. If you are planning to directly invest into stock market, the same money, all right. Why I'm saying this, because at any point of time, doesn't matter investing or anything else, we must have a clarity of thought. So if our thought process is that today through Dr. Binayak, I got to learn that I should be not putting my money into mutual fund, and putting your money into mutual fund is a mistake, then I should not be repeating that mistake again and again. So staying holded is nothing but buy. If you're putting hold on something, so industry always define in three ways. One, they say buy, another sell, another is hold. I say there is no such hold thing. If you're holding something, which means you are buy on that. All right. So if you want to buy on equity, you can come out of all those funds where you don't have to put exit load, because another 1% you don't want to give away. So wait for some time, probably till the time that lock-in is over. But you can take out your money, because if you are going to make this a philosophy that you're going to put your money into equity market through direct equity, then my point here is that be very clear about this in your head. All right.
Then one thing is that people who have invested in March or around that time in 2020, whichever instruments they have invested, they have made a decent return today.
Right.
People who have invested in mutual funds, probably they have made a 2x return, a 3x return, right?
No,
Right
sir.
now, right?
They have
People
not.
who have invested in good stocks
No,
may
sir.
have made a 10x return,
So they
5x,
are,
6x,
so
7x, 7x.
exactly, sir. So this is what I
So,
want.
so basically, what they should not, or what they should know, that for the next 2 years, you might not get that return. Because if you come out of this mutual fund with a 2x return or 3x return, and you put the money in in the equity market, and next 2 years, it is possible that you will not get a 3x return. So that thing has to be kept in mind.
Right.
So that this market which we saw from March 2020 to January 2022, that market might not replicate again in the next couple of years. So that's possible. Basically, you have to understand that mentally, that 2x, 3x which you got is much lower than what you have actually would have attained if you had put the money in 2020 in the stock market.
Right. Correct.
But saying that, I think mentally you should be telling yourself that, okay, now that I'm putting my money, good money, into a good fund, into a good business, let me stay invested for 10 years without looking into it.
Right. 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 Great, sir. So here we have from Harish Pathak ji. Do you do any technical analysis for entry or exit? I think I can answer this.
Uh,
So no.
I do not have the IQ of doing that. I'm sorry about it.
All
I
right.
do not have the brains or the IQ or the understanding of technical analysis. I don't.
Great. Compounding factor is great. Okay, so now we have again. I'm working for health services where they invest our money in NPS. Therefore, I asked whether I should withdraw money from other mutual funds and directly invest into a stock. Okay, I think it was a add-up question. Yeah, this is Kundar sir teaching us. Thank you. Many people advise in investing in index fund due to low expense ratio, and most of the mutual funds don't beat the index fund. Yes. So this was the addition. So people who don't understand index fund, it's more like you're investing into Nifty. So wherever Nifty will go, your fund will go. The same rate of return you will get. So thank you, Hari, for adding that up. Any other question?
I think, other thing is gold in the portfolio. I think a little bit of
Yes.
gold is required in
Yes,
the
sir.
portfolio.
Yes.
And I think physical gold is something which is a absolute necessity in the house. That's the minimum you should have, whatever is necessary. Otherwise, I think, RBI bonds are better way, or digital gold is a better way, because you don't have any problems with that. And secondly, you have a 2.5% interest per annum on that. And secondly, and thirdly, I think the dollar appreciation will give you a better chance also. But saying that, I think gold story might not be great in the next 8 years. It's possible, that's what I feel. So because this RBI bonds comes in a sachets of 8 years, after 5 years we can actually take out a little bit, but it's usually 8 year story. So I think a little bit of gold in your portfolio, I feel, is a little bit of a good diversification.
Perfect, sir. And I think,
Maybe 5%.
yeah, and currently, I think the kind of rates we have in gold, I think it's the same 6, 7 year old rate, this 54,000.
No, I think we are currently 24 carat is about 52, 53,000 now.
Yeah, which is like the same 6 year, 7 year old rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, gold chart.
It had gone up to $2,000, I think. Now it's gone back to $1,600.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about
Yeah.
actually.
So
5 year.
it had gone up to $2,100, I think.
Yeah.
$2,100.
It was almost at the same rate even 5 years back. This is August 2020. Yeah, so 2 years or maybe, yeah. This is in INR only, right? Like, yeah, so 2, 3 years, it's almost on the same rate.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to start timing it. All I'm saying is, like, yeah, some portion of it you should keep into gold ETF or those bonds of the government also.
Digital gold is the way to go, I think. Better.
Right, right, sir. Right. Any other question from anyone?
Nifty Bees. Nifty Bees is the same as actually buying index in ETF form. So I think if you have a demat account, you can buy Nifty. This is the same as buying Nifty. So any kind of buying Nifty through ETFs is not a bad option, but you have to see the volume of the transactions which is happening, because if you buy into something which is a low volume transaction, then it might be difficult to sell when you want it.
Right, right. So there's one question for me actually. Kundan sir, are you going to provide some advisory service? So,
You
uh,
should.
so yeah, I mean, so far been enjoying the teaching job, but yeah, the plan is the same actually, and what we want to build is like similar kind of product, like the way we build that complete coastal Indian stock market, 990 rupees product for whole personal finance management. Now, how to do that is a big question, because to achieve that kind of cost efficiency, we need great technology. So I need to put a lot of money developing that technology, which I call robo advisory. So I mean, talk with some firms out of Israel and Canada, because software developers are very expensive right now in India. So if I get
I
any,
suggest you something, Kundan,
yes,
about, we have a small community here,
right,
and we can meet once a month, and or maybe once in a fortnight, and discuss a few companies,
right.
and see the pros and cons. And that is a very easy
I
way
mean,
of getting into the whole business before you start up the whole other things which you are planning. So
correct.
this is a very crude way of actually starting up and
Yes.
getting people into our core group.
Yes. I'll be more than happy. I mean, so far we are all enjoying it, this journey, making good friends here. Uh, Business can always take a back seat, and I mean that is how it has happened from last 3 years. Though,
This will be something very unique, I mean, talking about, discussing about companies, not about stocks, just
right?
discussing about businesses,
Yes, yes,
and what we think about this particular
yes,
business.
yes.
Maybe in one session we discuss one business
True.
and take it from there.
You tell me which company you want to discuss
So
next.
I think, let's start with Asian Paints. Why not?
Okay, fine. So next call on Asian Paints, and can we increase?
Let us all prepare ourselves in the
Okay,
best way we can, and then we can discuss.
perfect, perfect. Would you like to invite some other people also apart from your fraternity? Is that okay if I
Yeah,
give
yeah, sure,
some
sure, absolutely,
some
absolutely.
young enthusiasts, good
Yes, yes,
students,
yes, yes, yes.
can do some homework and then they
Yeah,
come
and
and present?
we will discuss. I think in a span of say maybe 6 months, about 30 or 35 good companies,
Agree, sir.
good business.
That kind of transparency in the
Because
system.
that is something which doesn't happen. I
Yes,
mean, people talk about a lot of
yes,
stuff which with a lot of biases. Here we can actually independently and very rationally discuss particular businesses, and people can take their own take on it. Whether you want to get invested in it, that's your idea after the end of the day.
right. 100%, sir. I'll arrange this. I'll make sure that within next 2 weeks or maybe next to next Saturday, this is going to happen. Some more people coming up with research on company. I mean the company business or this industry business or this industry report, and we talk about Asian Paints in the coming this thing. We have Dr. Ajay Yadav. So my question, as I have invested through direct mutual fund, but convinced about direct entry, should I go ahead? And convinced about, I think, direct equity he wanted to write. Should I go ahead? So should I answer this, sir? If you want.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, Dr. Ajay, why not? I mean, even in the direct mutual fund, you are paying some fee. And if you want to directly try equity, somewhere, see, I have also read one very beautiful statement. Diversification is for those people who are not having conviction on their ideas or probably one or two investments. So if you want to believe in few companies and directly want to invest, I don't think you should the kind of fear we all have about equity, direct equity. I mean, why we don't invest into direct equity? That is one of the question actually we all should answer, or we all should ponder upon. So one of the reason is like we have been fed one thought here in our head that investing into stock is very, very risky. So we end up going to LIC. We end up going to mutual fund. And what they do, they again put it into stock market only.
ये ऐसा है कि आप जब बचपन में हम थे ना कि फिल्म अच्छा नहीं है,
हाँ,
फिल्म देखना नहीं चाहिए, सिनेमा अच्छा नहीं है,
right,
वैसा स्टॉक मार्केट बहुत रिस्की है।
right,
स्टॉक मार्केट फटका है,
right,
ये भी सुने हैं आप।
right.
तो दिस इज समथिंग, द मिथ्स व्हिच यू हैव टू बस्ट।
Right. So, Dr. Ajay Yadav, you can go. You can go directly, and this platform which we are building for you people, you can get these ideas. I mean, see, without having a license, I'm not supposed to give you any investment advisory. Okay, that will be illegal on my part. But it is not illegal that I arrange these kind of sessions where people from your own fraternity, like Dr. Binayak, some more people I know who do really good equity research and manage their own. So as a friend, you can always discuss and help each other. And I'll be just one of the moderator here who can put my own viewpoints. Idea is to have the right practices. So yes, why not? You can do that. You can certainly do that. Anything you want to add, sir, please?
No, I'm fine. I think call
Okay.
for the day.
Many people consider making a living by trading, especially in derivative segment. Is it true? Harish, I would suggest that first of all, Dr. Binayak, I don't think is the right person to answer this question. I personally feel. I can certainly give an answer for this, but let's keep it for another session. For your own fraternity, I wanted to have a session about the trading part also, which I'll conduct next Saturday or some other day. And let's keep these kind of questions for that. Let's focus only on investment today. Okay, because telling anything on this, I mean, in one line or two line will be very unbiased statement made by me. So let's dump this question for today and focus on the investment side. Any question if you have on the personal finance as per se, or investment side, direct equity side, or comparison of different asset classes, you can ask those questions, sir. All right, I think it's already 1.5 hour session, sir, and uh, anyone from the audience who would like to say thanks to Dr. Binayak Dev for his enthusiastic knowledge sharing. I think you must do. I mean, uh, I took fee from you 990 rupees. You don't need to say thanks to me. It was a pure transaction, commercial transaction. But what Binayak Dev has done is basically with no string attached, with no monetary benefit or something like that. He has helped you here, sharing his experience in a very candid way. So it will be really great if one of you only say the word of thanks and we can close this call. If I may call Dr. Ajay Yadav, are you there, sir? Oh, sorry, I have to allow them to speak actually. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Anybody who want to say anything or yeah. Dr. Ajay Yadav, you have been, very candid asking questions. Dr. Siddheshwar, I can say, Dr. Ankit Agarwal, any one of you, please. All right. So,
Sir,
I
this is Dr. Siddheshwar.
hi.
I just wanted to understand what are the five important elements of we becoming investing for long term. So as sir said, patience is very important. What are these things which makes us stand for a long time as an investor?
Please, sir.
I think, as I mentioned, is that capital is something which you require. That is the basic of investment. And capital, again, I think for wealth creation, you require a substantial capital. And that substantial capital, if it does not happen in one go, of course, for us professionals who start by the age of 27, 28, I think the time is a big factor. So we have time in our hands for somebody who's starting at 27, 28. Other thing is important is that you have to get into good businesses. So getting good businesses out of the 5,000 stocks which you have as business which you have in India in the stock market listed. So that is something which we need to find out yourself. This is not something which I myself or Kundan is saying that you believe in that and put your money in. I think you should do your own research and we will help you out to find out how to do that research. As I mentioned, as Kundan has said, that how to read fundamentals, how to actually read balance sheets, how to read the auditor's report. So that is very, very important. Third thing is, I think you have to believe in the story. That story needs to be believed in. You have to have some kind of competence about that story as well. And so these are the few things which I think is very, very important. Not only having a long time, you have to have good stocks, good businesses, and some amount, substantial amount of money as well. So if you put, 1,000 rupees for 30 years, that is not going to give you any substantial amount. So I think that substantial amount is required to make a wealth creation. And financial independence is something which we all should aim for by the age time we are 50. You should be financially independent, which by definition is that you have enough money to do what you want in life. It is not that you have to retire or you stop working or stop making money. You should have enough money to do what you want in life. So that is financial independence. So let's target financial independence of people who are in their early 20s and late 20s by the age they're 50. People who are in the 30s and 35, let's see that they have a good retirement by 60 with enough money in their hands.
Right, right. Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, Dr. Siddheshwar, anything you want to say? At least the thank you note from your side will be welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All points are aptly addressed.
All right, great. So now we can see some happy faces.
Uh,
Yeah.
it was an excellent presentation and thought. It was a lucid thought, and Dr. Dev is already a celebrity among us, and he had rightly directed because we are a confused fraternity. Mean to say, uh, whatever the advice we get, people, somebody has advised me for PMS. Rightly, I have invested in that. Has a lot of lost lot of money, then to mutual fund, somebody into direct in regular mutual fund, then somebody has advised to so the thought process of this education is an excellent initiative. That too without any pass. I really admire, and the thought process that Dr. Deb had given us a lot of motivation to go into mutual fund on the direct go into equity, sorry, equity, because we are all so much mutual fund theek hai. So it's a inbuilt thought that comes like that way. But I am really grateful for the presentation and the help and the advice Dr. Dev have given. Thank you very much, sir.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, Dr. Ajay. Thanks for speaking your heart out, and thank you all. I think we learned a lot from Dr. Binayak, and since he himself has given the idea that we can discuss more, probably every fortnight, about one company business, whether that business is good or bad. So yeah, stay tuned. We will have more such sessions, and you all can contribute there. Maybe next time we are going to discuss Asian Paints, but one of you, because this is a recorded video, and with Dr. Binayak Deb permission, and your permission also, everyone's of you, I can probably put it also on YouTube so that it can be available for other doctor friends also, because there are some 1700 doctors who have taken my course. I mean, I keep boasting about it to my parents. Let me be very honest with you all. My parents also wanted one of us, we are three brothers, to become a doctor, and unfortunately we all
Kundan, you are very smart. That's why you did not become a doctor. I must say that. all three brothers of yours are very smart guys.
So we all disappointed him, but I keep telling him nowadays that I'm friends with 1700 doctors.
Yeah, that is the better way of being close to a doctor.
Right. So last year we did it for army men, actually, like the similar kind of things for people from forces like army or navy or those things. So few sessions we conducted. It was very difficult to track down actually from the names that who are there from the forces. But in your people case, you all write doctor in front of you. So it was a very simple program of on the Excel sheet, which filtered out and gave the names of 1700 doctors who have joined this course. So we thought, yes, the same industry, same fraternity, probably facing the same kind of challenge. Why not start something for them where they can educate themselves from each other? And touchwood, I met you yesterday, and the result is this video, which is going to be very, very helpful for a lot of them, because I am saying these things as an outsider, and you from the same industry with the same kind of challenges, same experiences. If you have done good, I'm sure others can do good also. And whatever you said were very, very apt. The only thing is, like, I'm just worried if this video goes to YouTube, म्यूचुअल फंड वाले मेरे घर ना आ जाएं, क्योंकि इसमें हम लोगों ने म्यूचुअल फंड को बहुत बैश कर दिया है.
ठीक है. If you Kundan, if you feel it is not required, let us not put it. I mean, let us keep
No,
it
no,
to
no,
ourselves also.
no, sir.
No issues at all. No issues
No,
at
no,
all.
no, 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 sir. I have no. I'll show you. I have already spoken about all these things in my videos. I have taken this risk already. That was purely on the lighter note. I have taken this risk 2 years back, 3 years back, 4 years back. I have been not very vocal from last 2 years, but since now you came and then you shared the same thought process, that was purely on the lighter note. I mean, truth has to be told, right? Even for the industry people who come from the mutual fund industry, if they listen about these kind of things quite often, they can probably refix it. I mean, if you don't fix the industry, it will completely get wiped out. It's a loss for them also, right? So it's more like a public opinion. Okay, that was purely on the line.
You see, just to give you an example, the ULIPs came some time back. Remember that? And in the first year in the ULIP, if you put 1 lakh, the customer never knew that actually only 20% will be invested and the rest 80% is actually cost.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, your 2 lakhs 20 is only invested and 80,000 has been taken away. And the customer doesn't know about it.
100%.
So, I mean, this is actually not done.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so there was no transparency.
Right.
There was no condition where the customer come to know that what money is actually put where and how much is taken as commission.
Right.
So that we as customers, we have all the rights to know that.
Correct, sir. Correct. Very true. I mean, these kind of things are very much prevalent in YouTube. You find hundreds of videos which are boasting about mutual fund, which are bashing mutual funds. Also, we live in a very great era, I would say. This technology and the revolution around communication, media. Social media is the new form of media, right? Like people can voice out our opinion. Otherwise, we were supposed to see only what have been shown to us on television or radio, right? Like, so world is becoming a better place for sure. During independence, at the time of independence, the average age was 32. Now the average age is touching around 70. I mean, the mortality rate or all those things has gone better. So at every front, human as a race is doing better. And one of the thing is free speech, which needs to be practiced. Truth needs to be told. Okay, and what we have done together is have told the truth, no string attached. We neither have been paid to do this, nor we are going to get harmed by this. That was purely on the lighter note. So many thanks, Dr. Deb and Dr. Binayak, and thanks a lot. In fact, thanks a lot, because we
Okay,
have
and again, thank you
yeah,
very much. It was a privilege to be talking to you and the August group. So let's call it a day today, and we'll meet up again in time to come. Thank you. Good
great.
night.
Right. Good night, all. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kundan
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you, Binayak sir.
Good night.